You are welcome to start whenever you're ready.
Okay.
We don't have any announcements or anything. I was telling the other girls, but I told them what we need to make sure. So I'll just turn it over to you guys and you guys can get started when you're ready.
Okay,
Perfect.
awesome.
Thank you so much. First off, we're so excited to be here with you guys on Zoom today. Thank you so much for allowing us to come in and give you guys a little bit of education today. My name is Kennedy Martinson. I am a sales manager here at US Title. I'm in Sugar House. Our lovely instructor today is Miss Terrie Lund. She is one of our sales managers in our Union Park office. And then on our call today too, we have Courtney Armstrong. She is one of our sales managers in our Draper office. We're super excited and grateful to be here with you guys today, so thank you. A couple of little ground rules, I guess, for the class. Well, first, I'm sure that when you guys might have originally agreed to taking a CE course, we were doing a class on death and the transfer of real property, but we've had some shifts and changes happen here at US Title, and our instructor that teaches that class is no longer with US Title. So Terrie teaches a super awesome class on social media marketing and title insurance rules. And so we are just swapping this class in for that one. I'm sure you guys will still get some really good information. We all know just how relevant social media marketing is in our world right now. So if you have questions or anything like that throughout the class, please, participation is the greatest thing that we ask for in this class. I don't believe this class isn't a core credit, but you do still get CE credit, just not those core credit hours. So you will still get credit. To get credit for the class, throughout the class, we will give 5 code words. Those 5 code words at the end of the class, we will have you text to either to myself or Macaulay Flint. She's our sales manager in our Union Heights office who really set all of this up. She just had some car troubles this morning, so she should be hopping on the class soon here. But we'll throw a phone number in the chat for you guys to text at the end of the class with all 5 of those code words. And that's how you'll get credit for the class. That's just, since things are on Zoom, that's the way that we are regulated to make sure that you're on and paying attention and all of that super fun, exciting stuff. Did I miss anything?
Quick question. Where are the code words going to be? Is it just a word that's going to flash up or?
So yeah, just throughout the class, we'll interrupt Terrie a little bit there and we'll just give a code word. You know, we'll say, okay, guys, our first code word is this, second code word is this, and then you guys just keep track of them. And then at the end of the class, text us the code words and we'll put the phone number in the chat for the code words. Okay. And yes, to confirm, this is not going to be a core class credit. You will still get CE credit, just not core credit hours. We're doing some shifting and changing and adapting right now. So we still wanted to make sure that we could come in and teach and provide a super awesome service to you guys. And I think you'll still take a lot away from this class. So I think if that's it, Terrie, take it away.
Awesome. Kennedy, thank you so much. Courtney, good to see you on here too. I appreciate you guys. All of you guys that are joining us this morning, thank you. I know it's kind of weird where you were expecting Cora and this one isn't, but you know, just like Kennedy said, we're rolling with it right now. The beautiful word we used last year was pivot, right? We did a lot of pivoting last year. So we're just continuing to pivot through this. So please, we're happy to be here. We are so grateful to Presidio, to all of, you know, the awesome opportunities that you guys have presented us with, and we are just excited to be able to offer some education, add some value to your awesome real estate career. So with that, we'll go ahead and get started. Social media, I love interaction, especially in a social media class. We definitely need that. So even though I know we're all on Zoom, the more interaction, the better. I welcome interruptions. I welcome questions. The girls will be monitoring the chat. So if you do have a certain question you want to put in there, make sure you put it in the chat so we can go ahead and address that. Or if there's stories you want to share, please. I welcome all of them. My name's Terrie. I have been with US Title for just about 4 years now. I've been in the title insurance world for 16, so I've been around for a minute or two. And, you know, a lot of that time was spent as an actual escrow officer. So I was in the closing room for 8 years, and I've been out doing sales ever since then. But, you know, you never stop selling even as an escrow officer. So I'm just excited to be a part of this real estate world. And especially with the interesting market that we are living in right now. How many of y'all are just pulling your hair out, working with all your buyers and all the things that are going on? Y'all having a lot of fun out there, right? It's an adventure minute. It's a total adventure. And social media is a really powerful tool for you guys to stay connected with people and also to still keep things rolling. So that's what we're going to talk a little bit about. In order to make this class something that we could actually get it approved, I have to mention title insurance in there. So we're going to go over the marketing rule that applies to social media just real briefly, so you guys have a little bit of an understanding as to what we can and cannot do, and then more, of course, focusing on what we can do to help you grow your business. That's what we'd like to do. So are we good? We're going to go ahead and get this party started. I'm excited for it. Okay, here we go. Social media marketing and title insurance rules. It is all good stuff. That is for sure. Let's see here. Maybe if I can get my screen to move. You never know. There we go. So social media, we have all kinds of things. How many of you, sometimes when you look at social media, do you get a little overwhelmed? You're like, oh my gosh, what exactly is going on here? You want me to do what? You want me to keep up with what? The biggest thing with social media is there's all kinds of things, right? You've got Facebook, you have Instagram, you have Snapchat. And then with the pandemic and everything, Zoom has come through the roof. Obviously, we're educating you through Zoom today. All of our kids are doing education through Zoom or Google Hangouts or all kinds of different things. Live is a big deal. Live, I think, really got us through a lot of the beginning of the pandemic. I know I watched a lot of my favorite artists. They would go live all the time, either on Instagram or on Facebook. And that was really nice to keep some music flowing. And it made you feel like, okay, we're going to be all right. Like we're going to get through this. But the biggest thing is, how do you even know where to start, right? Just start. That's the biggest thing I can give you is just start. You just have to start. Whatever it is, just begin. If you don't have a social media account, we can help you with that. We'd love to sit down with you and take a look and see what you've got going on, what you're doing for your marketing. We're here to help you because there's so many different ways to do it, but it is imperative that you have some form of social media in your marketing. The biggest things these are the questions we get all the time. Well, what platform do you love the best? And are there people that can help me with it? Does it cost money to have somebody help me with my marketing or to help me with my social media? And the other big one, because it can actually help with the cost of any type of marketing you're doing, is co-branding. So we're going to talk a little bit about how title companies and the whole reason why we can't actually co-brand with you, but we're going to give you some ideas on who can, which will be great too. So girls, as we're getting started, do you want to go ahead and throw up that first code word?
Yes. Okay. Our first code word is, see if I can get it in here good, is social. First code word is social.
It's a great code word, seems how that's what it's about, right?
I know, huh?
That's awesome. Okay, so one other thing, we get lost in social media, right? But the whole reason why social media was even created was to help you create relationships and connections online. Would you agree? Right? That's the whole reason why social media was created, was to help you create relationships online. Who else would agree that relationships in real estate, that's all they are about? Would you agree with that? Your relationships in real estate. I'm talking the relationship with your buyer and your seller. I'm talking the relationship with your home inspector, your home warranty company, your title company, your lender, all of your vendors that you use, maybe your handyman that you use, maybe it's, all your list of trusted people, your attorneys, your accountants. Do you have a pretty good group of people to complete a real estate transaction, right? When they say it takes a village, it totally takes a village to get a real estate deal done, right? Especially these days, there's a lot of hand-holding. How many of you are therapists through all this too, right? We've all been there. So there's so many different relationships that go into creating that solid real estate relationship. The one thing, so we are here to help and support you guys in any way possible, which is we can help somewhat solidify those relationships. And that's what we like to do. That's how we choose to do our marketing, is we do it through relationships. And we want to make sure that we are adding value to you guys every step of the way. That is a very, very, very big deal to us. And we want to make sure that we're taking care of you guys in that way and helping you grow your business, whatever that might look like, whether it's us sitting down, looking at a marketing plan with you, seeing what you're planning on doing, how we can step in, sharing your posts on social media, sharing your listings out there, whatever that looks like to you, we want to be there to help. The only thing that we absolutely cannot do under any circumstances, we cannot co-brand or do any co-advertising. Co-branding is, it goes along with co-advertising, is when, let's say you have a flyer that you're sending out, maybe a just listed, just sold flyer, and you have all your information on it, and then your lender has come in and also taken a spot on there, or your home warranty company has come in there and taken a spot on that flyer. So they've paid for a portion of it. With title insurance, that is not anything that we can do. We absolutely cannot pay for anything. We cannot co-brand, co-advertise at all. We are governed by the Division of Insurance, not the Division of Real Estate. And the insurance division put the kibosh down on that a long time ago. Even though there is affiliated business arrangements now, controlled business within title companies where a brokerage could own a title company, these rules are still in place. That title company still cannot co-brand with a real estate company. So we would love to, believe me, I would love nothing more than to be able to do that with you guys, but we can't do that. But there's other things we can do, which is awesome. So we do have some fun things that we still can do. So we're not all about the no game, believe you me. There's a lot of yes in there too. This just takes us through all of the things that we absolutely cannot do. So there's no way we can sponsor, we can't co-sponsor, we can't subsidize, we can't contribute fees, prizes, gifts. So if you're doing a big client event or you're hosting something and you want us to bring a gift basket, I would love to more than anything, but my hands are tied and I love my license way too much to get fined or to risk losing it by breaking a lot of these rules when it comes to prizes, gift baskets, anything like that. However, if you are hosting a client event, we make the best check-in people on the planet because we want to be there to help you and support you and let you go do your thing, which is meeting and greeting with everybody in your SOI, which is where you should be. We are more than happy to handle some of those tedious tasks. We'll help with setup. We can give you time. We just can't give you money. I know, kind of sucks, but is what it is. Does that make sense though? Are we good on that? Any questions, any concerns on that? Okay. So this just gives you, some of the things again that we just unfortunately cannot do. Makes me sad. However, these are all the cool things we can do, which makes me even more happy. So how many of you use social media for your listings? Yeah, raise your hands out there. Does everybody use social media for your listings? Okay. How many of you use social media when you put a buyer under contract? Anybody? Got a few buyers under contract out there. How many of you are using social media when you have a client event where you're inviting your clients to a client event? Because that's something that your SOI, you really want to make sure that you're using that, right? This is something that we can help you with. So we can share all of your stuff. We can absolutely share. We can share. Sharing is caring in our world, and we want to do that. So we can share and share and share. We can share all your listings. We can share all your, all of your amazing things. If there's an incredible story that you have with a client that you've helped, we would love to help you share your story. The biggest thing you can do on social media is share your story, and we can help push that out. Okay. So we can always share everything. We can respond on all your comments. We can comment on all your stuff. We can do all of those things that are going to create just a little bit more engagement on your posts. We can actually, we can offer up reviews. They stay fairly generic, but we can offer up reviews for you as well. So there are a lot of things that we can do as a title insurance agency that still stays within our guidelines, but allows us to still help you market and help you get the word out. Does that make sense? So we've got all of those. So there's some great stuff that we still can do. And the biggest thing we can do though is allow us to sit down with you. We want to be, your success means the world to us, and we just want to see y'all be successful. So if we can sit down and look at your marketing plan and see what you've got going on, there's a lot of times, especially these younger girls, right? Like they know their stuff on social media, like they get it. They totally get it. They can help you dial in depending on what the demographic is that you're wanting to listen, that you're really wanting to reach. They can help you dial in. They can teach you a few things. They've taught me a few things. The whole reason why I have social media, that I started using it, was because that's where my kids were. How many of you have done that before? Where your kids are is where you go, right? So all these new things happen no matter where it was, whether it's the baseball field, the football field, the cheer, whatever it was, you're where your kids are. And when your kids started being on social media, I'm like, okay, well, I guess I got to figure this out. So I got to figure it out. And it's like, oh, well, this is fun. This creates a whole new way to stay in touch with people. And that's what this is all about. So we can help you share your story. And that is the biggest thing that you can do with anybody, because people, remember, they want to work with those who they know, like, and trust. And if they know you and they like you and they trust you, their chances are really good they're going to do business with you. So we want to help you share your story so more people get to know you, they continue to like you, they obviously build trust with you, and they want to do business with you. So that's something that we absolutely are here to help you do. We talked a lot about that. We'll revisit it. Okay, so now that we got that all the way, I'm all for the fun stuff. Anybody else ready to get into the fun stuff? Are we live out there? Are we totally alive out there? There's lots of people alive out there, right? Okay, just making sure. Just making sure we are good to go out there. Okay, so social media. There's 5 basic platforms. This is the fun part. So we've got Facebook, we've got Twitter, we've got Instagram, we've got LinkedIn, and Snapchat. I said it, Snapchat. Snapchat is fun, I promise. And it's not just that weird kind of thing. It actually is a great place to connect with other realtor friends, and it's a great place to showcase some really cool stuff. So we'll get into that just a little bit. How many of y'all have at least one of these platforms? Show hands, yeah? Like most everybody has at least one of these platforms, right? So a little bit interaction here, guys. What's your most favorite platform? Put it in the chat, shout it out, unmute, shout it out, whatever. What's your most favorite platform? Feel free to unmute yourself.
Instagram.
Instagram, okay.
Yep, we've got some Facebook, Instagram, Instagram.
Yep, Facebook.
Facebook, okay. Those are pretty much our top 2 for everybody, for the most part, is Facebook and Instagram. What makes it really nice about Facebook and Instagram? Does anybody know what makes it really nice?
They work together.
They do. They're like, they totally mesh together, right? So they're meshing together, which makes it a little bit easier for you to post, because you can make it so to where they're connected. So you can totally have a post that's going to go out on your Instagram page, and it's also going to hit your Facebook page, which is really nice. That makes it so it's kind of a one-stop shop, right? It's one less thing on your big, long list of to-dos if you can only have one place to post, and then it goes out to all places. So how many of you also have a business Facebook page? Does everybody have a business Facebook page? If you don't, you might want to get one. There's a lot of people that utilize the business page a lot, especially if you're going to run any Facebook ads, you absolutely have to have a business page. But there's the biggest thing with Facebook is, and any social media really, is you just have to be authentic and real. Would you agree, right? Because if we're not authentic and real, they're all gonna notice, right? All your connections are gonna notice if you're being a faker when they meet you in real life, and nobody wants that. Nobody wants to be accused of being a faker. That is never a good idea. So Facebook and Instagram are always those top ones. Twitter kind of comes and goes. LinkedIn, surprisingly, is totally stepping up their game. They're pretty awesome. If you don't have your LinkedIn profile beefed up, we'll talk about that. And then there's a few more others out there too. Okay, so what should you be doing on social media? What do you think you should be doing? What are some of the biggest things that you need to be doing on social media? What is the biggest thing that you do on social media that generates the most amount of engagement? What's the biggest thing that you can do?
It looks like Brian said post every day.
Okay, perfect. What are you posting, Brian?
I think he's typing.
Okay. Oh, he's typing. Okay.
Mainly just random real estate activities every day.
Random real estate activities every day. Perfect. Are you throwing some personal in there too?
Yes.
Awesome. Yeah, because people need to know you're human. So that's always a good thing, right?
That's very true.
So they want to know you're a little human, because remember, people love to work with the human inside of us too, right? So aside to posting every day, what else are you doing on social media?
Well, I had heard actually that you're supposed to post one real estate posting for every 7 personal. Otherwise, Facebook could cut you off. And then also what I do is I just share from my Facebook page, properties and listings and
Right.
then you have to go and you have to like people's stuff, but you also have to comment. Otherwise, they're not going to show up.
Exactly. It's one thing to scroll by it, to give it a thumbs up, to give it a little heart, to give it a high five. It's one thing to do that, but it takes it to a whole other level when you're actually engaging on a post, right? So when we're engaging on that post, what are we doing with that person on the other end of the post? We're connecting with them. And that is what Facebook is really trying to get back to. And that's why we're seeing, just like Lara said, if all you're talking about is real estate, they're going to flag you as business. They're going to flag you as spam because you're not they're not seeing you as a real human. Mm-hmm. Especially if you just have a third party posting all your things, they're not seeing you as a real person. And Facebook is about being real. So you should be absolutely connecting. And what better place to stay in touch with your SOI, right? Is completely through connecting. That's a great place to do it. When you get on there and you're engaging in posts, even on your posts, if you have people engaging on it, are you commenting back on their stuff? So if you've just put up a post and somebody has engaged with it, are you just liking it or are you actually engaging with it as they come back?
I've always been told to engage, but space it out so it keeps your thing at the top of the feed. So it reposts it back to the top. So you don't comment instantly. You wait for an hour or so, respond to that one person. If another person commented, don't respond quickly to them, wait and then respond later. So it keeps your thing popping up.
Yep, because you'll see it as it goes, right? So every time, because it refreshes it as soon as they're like, oh, more people are doing this. Oh, we should probably put that back to the top of everybody's news feed. Oh, we should do this and put it back up there. So it is a huge, huge situation. So Facebook is a great way for you to actually be connected too. And the other types of connections that we can have, you've got, connection is huge. I think if there's anything that we've learned over the last year is connection is a big deal. And we had to learn how to stay connected with one another. And it was all kinds of different ways, right? Facebook was the hugest one. FaceTime. How many of you use FaceTime? I love FaceTime. FaceTime is one of my most favorite things on the planet. And if you don't have an iPhone, for all of you Android users out there, you can use Facebook Messenger to actually video chat, and it works quite nicely. Because one of my daughters lives, a little bit further away, and I have my brand new grandbaby that so that's how I get to see her, because she has an Android phone. So she has to call me on basically Messenger video chat, which is amazing. And Zoom has been huge, right? Phone calls, you always have to have, when you can make a phone call to somebody and they can actually hear your voice, that's a huge way to stay in touch and stay connected. And those face-to-faces, set up that face-to-face meeting, have a cup of coffee with somebody, grab a swig, grab a Diet Coke, whatever your flavor is, take a minute and truly sit on a park bench and just have some time with somebody. You will be so grateful you did, no matter who that somebody is. Video is king though. We're going to talk a lot about video today. Video is absolutely king. If you're not, how many of you are scared to do video? I want to raise a hand, give it to me. It's okay. You can be totally raw here. This is a safe zone, no judgment. Does video scare the crap out of most of you people? It's okay if it does. We can totally, we're not meaning to, but it's okay if it does. It shouldn't though. I'm going to tell you how you can get comfortable with it. When you post video in social media, it automatically gets further reach than anything else. Better than a photo, better than a whole bunch of words. Video is king. We as people have got to the point where we want to be entertained. We have the attention span of a gnat. So you've got to grab people's interest within that first like 3 seconds, so they will continue to watch your video. Most of your friends always want to know what's going on. We are nosy people. We are just nosy creatures in general. We are human, and we want to know what's going on with everybody in our world. Get on there, do some video, post some video when you're touring open houses. Let people know what's going on in the real estate world instead of just posting a stat from the Salt Lake board. Take 2 minutes, do a video and say, hey guys, I just want to update you on what is going on in this crazy real estate market. Stats are out from the Salt Lake board. This is what we've got going on. If you're thinking to list, it's a great time, call me. That's going to go a lot further than posting a graphic.
And then you look like the professional too, instead of the Salt Lake board. Makes it look like that you have that information too.
Absolutely, because that's the biggest thing. But when you are using that, make sure you're citing your source. That's the other thing. You've got to make sure you cite your source on all of it.
Well,
So,
we have
Oh yeah, go ahead, Kennedy.
sorry, we've got something in the comment section, in the chat section. Andrea says, I have a Facebook business page and a personal page branded by my LLC, not my agency. Can you clarify how posting is best done in this situation?
If you're going to do any type of real estate posting whatsoever, you need to make sure your brokerage is on there. If it is you're posting directly to your business page, you can always share it onto your personal page, and that's fine. But you need to make sure on whatever you're sharing listing wise, if it's an actual listing you're sharing or any property, there's the one click back that's either going to take you to the brokerage page or it's going to take you directly to the MLS, one or the other. So you have to have that one click back on there. So whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
So whatever that looks like, you're going to have that one click back on there. But you can totally post you can post everything to your business page and share it out. Facebook isn't, the reach isn't happening as much as it once did from posting when you share from your business page. I've noticed that on my own business page. The reach doesn't get as far, but as long as it's good content and people are engaging on it, it's going to get further. So continue. Andrea, is that how you post now? Is that what you do?
I don't do much posting at all. I'm new, and B, I don't know if I believe in it. I hate to say that. I'm happy I'm in this class, even though I didn't sign up for it. It's like face your whatever, your ignorance or
face your fear. It's okay. That's what we're breaking barriers today. It's okay. So, okay. So do you have a business page that you have on Facebook then?
Yes, I do. And it's because I've been in executive coaching before, and I'm just adding I'm adding another, what do you call that? Marketable skill to my entrepreneurial portfolio. And I'm a realtor, and that's my main thing. And so because I already had that business Facebook page, I just used it to post one open house or something like that. But I've just been listening and watching. I used to just put stuff up there just so people saw my footprint, which was hopefully happy, positive, and relevant and helpful, you know.
Right.
But now it's not like a boat is on my profile there because I am a realtor through my agency, but like I am not confident with the posting. Like if I'm posting on my business page, every once in a while I'll share it to my personal page just because it's more of a footprint than an active tool. Does that help? Is that what you're asking?
That makes a lot of sense. Just make sure on your business page though, because you are a realtor and you are going to be talking about real estate, that you have your brokerage information on there.
Okay, and that is there. And then put the one click, and you said the link, it has to either be to your agency or the MLS?
Yes, it had one click back to the MLS or click back to the brokerage, whichever one that is, wherever they're going to be able to view it, because the brokerage is the one that actually holds all those listings. So
Sure.
that's why it either has to go back to there or back to the MLS. So the consumer
And
has
then-
to have the one click back rule, and the division is not afraid to fine.
Say that one more time.
The division of real estate is not afraid to fine you if it's not.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. They love to collect money. So any money I can save you, I am in, totally in.
Right. And then if that's posted properly on the business page, I can just freely share that onto my personal page.
Yep, just
But
freely
then-
share.
Okay, and then backing up to what one other person said, they said that you have to post like 7 personal things to every one business share or posting in order to not be squished or something.
You know, that algorithm is an ever-changing thing, and it's really going to depend on what you're posting. That's the other big part. So if all you're posting is, real estate, everybody's going to tune you out anyways, because you're just going to bug people. They're going to be like, well, who are you? Are you even a real human? That's the biggest thing, is you have to remember social media. So whatever that looks like for you, whether it's family, whether it's just personal, whether it's gardening. I mean, maybe you grow the best tomatoes on planet Earth. Share your story about how you grow tomatoes, because people are going to engage with you on stuff like that before they're going to engage with you because they're so afraid to be sold to. But if you're coming at them as a value add standpoint, they're going to engage with even your real estate posts. That's the biggest part right there, is they have to, you want them to engage with you because you're giving them a piece of value. You're not selling to them. Does that make sense? Okay.
Well, if you share from other sites, it doesn't strike against you as much as if you just go on there and share, property listings every day. Or if you go
exactly. Yeah.
And so, what I have done is I've just set up a system, and I haven't been really good at it the past 3 years because I've had some other personal things going on out of state. But I had a system where on Monday I would post a certain type of thing, and I'd post it to LinkedIn and everywhere. On Tuesday, I'd post stuff from a country magazine, and then like on Wednesday I'd post a quote. On Thursday I would do like a forward a music video or something I like, and so it's all mixed up, and then you start posting personal stuff, from your garden or whatever. But the days that you don't have something personal to post that's interesting, I share this other kind of stuff. But I am having stuff deleted from Facebook. Like yesterday, I recorded a video of me doing 25 push-ups, in a challenge related to, with mental illness and post-traumatic stress and other health issues that people are having. And, that video was deleted. I had 1 like, and I went back to check it in the afternoon, and the video had been deleted. So I don't know. I mean, I'm randomly selected, and I don't know why that is. I mean, that's not what's happened to me.
Nobody knows why Facebook does what they do. And that's the terrible part about it, is they're just trying to censor so many things that they don't feel it's fitting community guidelines, whatever that looks like. I can't see how a push-up challenge would at all, but it's just.
Yeah. And see, I don't post anything political or anything religious whatsoever.
We don't do that.
I just, so people don't know and they're not offended and turned off by that.
That's very strange, because what you're posting is relevant to who you are. And that's the whole purpose of social media, is you want to connect with a group of people that are like-minded and like you. Because if you can work with people that have the same interests that you do, chances are you're going to work a lot better together. You know what I mean? So that's very strange. I don't know why. I would totally send an email, be like, why did you delete this? And they'll either tell you why, or they're going to tell you, they're going to be like, oh, we shouldn't have done that. It's going to go one of 2 ways. So I would definitely reach out through the email to Facebook, because it can say, oh, this has been deleted. Click here to find out why. I would do that and say, why are you deleting this? This doesn't make any sense. So Facebook does have a great way of doing that, because when you're going through and you're doing all of those things, it's just helping you to create, your identity, your social media identity and who you are. And it's helping you to create a little bit of your branding too. And the other thing that is big that goes right into the whole teaching piece on social media, as long as you're adding value for somebody and you're not selling them. Does that make sense? We are all in the business of sales. Every one of us on this call, we're all in the business of sales. It's what we do. However, if we are actually adding value to somebody and it's not, hey, let me list your house. Hey, do you have a referral? Hey, do you have this? Hey, you should absolutely be asking for referrals. You should absolutely be reminding people you're a realtor, because if you don't, they're going to list with somebody else. And so it is imperative that they know what you do for work. Absolutely, hands down. But you also need to be showing them that you're an expert, for sure. Andrea?
So where is that line drawn between you posting something businessy and you posting something personally? If you're like just out checking out a property and saying, oh my gosh, I just love real estate. Look where I am today. I'm checking out this resort. You know, isn't it beautiful? Period. Right? And then end of your video. That's not anything that requires a link or anything, right?
No, not at all.
And if you're posting a video, I suppose the link just goes in the text part. And do we do FaceTime live? Like
it's Facebook Live. So you can do live video on Facebook.
But then you can also still type a link in there or something.
Oh yeah, you can type all kinds of stuff. So when you're going to do a live video, it'll come up and then it has your description of the live video, and you could put a link in there if you wanted to. So if you wanted to, put on there, even if you put on there, come check out all these cool resort properties, presidioutah.com, whatever your website is. Even if you wanted to throw that on there, you totally could, but you don't have to. Because at this point, it's just, oh my gosh, look what I'm doing today. Look where I'm at. Look at this gorgeous piece of property.
Okay, so is there a way you can describe that boundary in any way, like from your professional experience view? Like, how would you describe it?
If it's listed, you need to have the one click back. If it's on the MLS, you have to have the one click back. As soon as it's listed, you have to have that click back. Otherwise, you're previewing property. And that's why on your page, it needs to show that you're a realtor and you have to have your broker information on your social media pages.
It looks like we've got a couple of different things in the chat as well. So Andrea did make a couple comments in the chat. One thing she said is, that's a point, putting your profitability in someone else's hands. Facebook is concerning that way. But then also, how do you collect contacts to your warm list / email list from Facebook?
That is how you engage with people, plain and simple. Because you can set up all kinds of different landing pages and create different click funnels to have them all come in to you, just like you've done with any other coaching exercise, right? However, you've collected all those clients over the years. If they filling out any type of information, all of a sudden they're in there and then they're a lead and then you're creating a relationship with them. It's no different on Facebook. It's no different, but the magic in Facebook, if you're not creating like a click funnel type lead to where you're actually gathering their information, but you've noticed they're engaging with your stuff a lot, it's in the messaging. It's in the reach out and the messaging. It's in all those things like that. And I know Courtney's had some awesome success when it comes to using messaging as a tool. So maybe, Courtney, would you mind giving us just an example of how you've kind of worked that a little bit in different areas and how the best way to create more of that warm lead versus just a contact?
Yeah, I created a separate Instagram just for my title marketing. And so I really love design. So I post a lot of design inspo. I post some motivational quotes, and then I also post little tidbits about title. So you're not getting bombarded with strictly title. And that way I've been able to kind of build an audience from there, and just start to kind of foster relationships with different agents. And I'll comment on their stuff, they'll comment on mine, and it just kind of creates that warm lead. And then I feel like I'm actually adding value to where I can say like, hey, we followed each other for a while. You see my stuff, I see your stuff, we love it. Like, let's set up a meeting and chat and like see what I can do for you. So it's been a really helpful tool for me in my business.
Well, and I think too, with like the people that you have common interests in, make sure that you're commenting or like messaging them of like, oh my gosh, I plant tomatoes too, or do you have any tricks for me or something? Or if you see vice versa, that you have something that you can share to them, not even real estate related, just form that connection initially. And kind of like what Courtney said, it just kind of builds on just your personality. And then eventually it can be like, you can either, if you want some of their more personal information and you don't just want to DM them, you could always do like a giveaway or comment your email on this post for a chance to win this $25 Amazon gift card. And then it's like, you're getting all these different, emails that you wouldn't have gotten with a $25 gift card or just something like that. Or, hey, I do this for my clients who's ever sells a home with me or something. I put them in a drawing at the end of, June or whatever. And, just so you're forming some sort of incentive, weirdly, I feel like people, even if it's a $25 gift card, people are willing to do whatever for the incentive. And just different marketing tools that way, where if you're trying to connect with your audience already, instead of just getting their information, I would say like the stories on Instagram or stories on Facebook. If you're commenting on their stories or you're having them like comment on yours or different things like that, they're more likely to see your stuff anyways. That's kind of like the algorithm of Facebook and Instagram is the more that they can interact with your page, the more that they will see your page. So the more visible you'll be when you post stuff to them, because you only see certain people's stuff. If you guys notice, you have a lot of friends. And so when you're engaging with them and they're engaging back, you're more likely to see each other's stuff. So just engage. Stories, I think, are a huge thing right now, because you can do, like, Terrie's so good at stories. She'll always post like when she wears a really sassy shoe or what coffee she's drinking or something, like, but people engage in it. They love it and they look forward to it. And it's like, the more that they engage and like it, the more they're seeing it, and it's just stuff that's just random throughout the day where it goes away in 24 hours. So it's stuff that you don't care that will delete in 24 hours, but that people will engage in. And Instagram has all these different tools of, like comment your favorite Netflix show, like COVID, Netflix went crazy with COVID, that it's like, oh, I'm all out of Netflix shows, comment your favorite Netflix show. And then you guys can kind of talk about that or whatever. But they're also seeing your page more because they've commented on it. They're like, oh, I can tell you about all these Netflix shows, So just kind of keeping that line of communication open, and stories, I think, have really helped me too. So
yeah, it's so there's definitely, that's how you would do it if you're not using the full on. So in your coaching business, Andrea, did you use the landing pages with more of the Facebook ads to collect information? You used a lot of that?
I set that up, but I learned my business style is so one-on-one and referral based, word of mouth. Like, that is just the core me. So that's kind of why this is hard for me, because, you don't
want to do the big funnel. I get it. You don't want to throw all the balls in.
I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm far too mother hen or something, that I feel responsible for everyone that comes to me. Oh no. But I didn't do that. I did set that up and I did point people to it. But I really secretly hoped it wouldn't grow, because I want to help everyone that comes to me. So I really, was selective, and so that's a barrier I'm needing to break through. And it served me well in that world. Let me put it that way.
Oh yeah.
Well, so.
Well, I'm going to encourage you to keep that same, because as you're out there and once you get a little bit more out there on social media too, you're showcasing your human side, right? Because that's the biggest thing, is whatever you're doing, when you're teaching, you're doing video, whatever you're posting on social media, it is so important that you are human. People engage with the human in real estate. It is the most emotional transaction on the planet. So being able to engage that way, we're going to get into it just a little bit more. We do need another code word though, because we've been going on a little bit. So let's get me another code word. Let's get everybody here another code word real quick, girls.
Well, I don't know if you had them printed out, or I can just throw one up.
I was going to say, I know, Macaulay, did you want to keep going with the code words, or do you want me to keep going with them? You're on mute, girlfriend.
I don't know which number you're on, so you go ahead.
Okay. So this will be code word number 2. Sorry, I don't have anything printed out for this one, but our second code word is media. Second code word is media.
social media, because holy three holies, Batman.
I know.
It is
You guys just wait and see what kind of sentence we build at the end of this. It'll be just thrilling.
going to be amazing.
Yeah,
It's gonna be awesome.
anticipation's building. I can feel it. Exciting.
So
before we move on, we did have another really good comment in the chat from Laura. She says she has a really good website. It's www.utahhomeslaura.com that she shares properties, blog posts, local events, etc. Anyone asking for a CMA or responds who are not already in my database, I add them to my social media. So that's an awesome landing page, it sounds like.
that would, and then that's the perfect way to do it, because you know, the more people that you do add to your social media, it just creates your SOI. It truly does. It's a way for you to hit a lot of people versus just hitting everybody that's opening your emails or that's hitting that text message or whatever that might be. I mean, if you seriously look at this slide, there's 1.6 billion users on Facebook. 1.6 billion. Are you going to meet all 1.6 billion? Probably not. It's probably closer to 2 billion now. But it is a lot of people, and that's where your people are. People are here. We're right here. Look at this. This is where we are all day long. It happens. Whatever happens, happens. And it is just crazy. So to be able to utilize it in the proper way and utilize it in a way that feeds your soul. Don't do things on social media because you should. Do them still to where they feel right and they feel congruent with you, because that's going to attract the people that you want to do business with. There are a lot of people out there, and the worst thing that can happen is you have to work with somebody that you are not getting along with, because then you do this the whole time, and it creates a bad transaction for everybody. There's this beautiful thing called a referral fee. And I think you all should utilize it over and over and over again. I was in a class in Boston at NAR. If you've never had an opportunity to attend the National Association of Realtor meetings, I highly suggest it. He was the CEO of Tennessee, the Tennessee Association. His name is Greg Glosson, and he taught this class. It was dealing with difficult buyers, sellers, and agents. And he said, the best thing he said, he's like, have you guys ever worked with that difficult buyer or seller that they were so hard and you just fought the whole time? He's like, why in the world are you doing that? Why are you not referring that out to somebody who is going to work well with them, is going to create a great experience for them, and you are still going to turn around and collect a referral fee on it? Because at the end of the day, if they're speaking highly of real estate, they're speaking highly of you because you're like, you know what? I have somebody that's just going to be perfect for you to work with. Are you all right if I introduce you to so-and-so? Let me introduce you to Jim over here. He's going to take great care of you. They're going to be more grateful that you introduced them to somebody that was like-minded versus you banging your head against the wall with somebody else. So keep that in mind. No matter how many billions of users are on Facebook, you still can be picky. You don't have to cast the biggest net possible and dump 30,000 tennis balls into a funnel hoping that one's going to stick. Be picky, be choosy. Choose people that you love to connect with. That is something that is absolutely critical. So also during quarantine.
Sorry, go on.
Do we have a question?
No. I was just going to add on that I just think I 100% agree with you. And I also think too that people can tell when you're not being really authentic to yourself. And then that just drives people away anyways. So as long as you're posting and you're true to yourself and you're true to who you are, while still saying like respectful and nice and, you know, cool and stuff. But yeah, just stay true to who you are, and you'll connect the people that you're supposed to connect with. And Terrie's right. It's not worth the stress and the hair loss and the, you know, like just, yeah, not worth it. So just, yeah, be true to who you are.
For sure. So our internet stats though, right? During quarantine, how crazy is this? I had to put the slide in here because it was fascinating to me when I started teaching this class when we came back, actually doing these things like May, June-ish of last year. I mean, look at this. Our Zoom went up from, 2 million users all the way up to over 6 million users almost overnight. That's how quickly we had to adapt to what was going on. Google Classroom we all had to deal with kids in school, or some of us did, or people that had to deal with kids in school, and now that it's online and it's Google Classroom, and you want to just pound your head against the fridge. At least I did with mine that was still in there. That was rough. Getting better. The VPN systems are huge, making sure that you are secured when you're online. That is another big one. This is interesting. Look, if you look up over here, the website, look at these Facebook stats. Facebook usage was up 27%. So it is a big deal that you guys are on social media and that we're using it the right way. Netflix, how many of y'all binged some series? We all binged some series? It happens. It's okay. It's okay. We're coming out of it now. It's all right. We're all coming out of it. But Netflix was up 16%. YouTube, if you're utilizing a lot of video, it's wise to get a YouTube channel because you can house all your video there and then you can just repurpose it later. So if you're using tons of video, YouTube is huge for you guys to have your own channel on. And it's easy. The app makes it super easy to upload stuff. So it's an awesome way to do it. And how many get sucked in the black hole of TikTok? Come on, admit it. TikTok is fun. TikTok is great. It's a great way just to see some things. I'm seeing more and more and more real estate TikToks out there, which I think are, I don't know if y'all have watched the Apple one, but that one was probably one of my most favorite ones, where he's holding the apple. And he's like, I've got this apple for sale. And it's like, oh, I hear you're going to be listing that. Do you want to tell me why I should bid on your apple? And he looks at me, he's like, really? Do you really need to know? It was fantastic. It was really
It's the Johnson Files. If you guys haven't seen it, that's so funny and
it was awesome.
Sadly true in this environment.
Exactly. But if you are big into that stuff, TikTok is another great avenue for you to really showcase who you are and just have some fun. More than anything, it is a place for you to just kind of release and have fun, and we all can get sucked into the whole hole of that. Oh my gosh, hey, he should come back. Okay, and we got to stop this for a second. Guys, this is a huge thing. Mr. Steve Bourget, he's our president of U.S. Title. Say hey to all the people out there. We're teaching a class today on social media.
We got a star in our midst.
Yeah, so sorry, we just had to stop right there so we could say hi to him, because it's exciting. He never gets to come and see one of these classes. It's amazing. So, but TikTok is a great place for you to be able to showcase a few different things, and also just for you to kind of release. So, and that went up in a hurry, 15%, almost like overnight. So that was just a few fun facts for you. So would you agree with me that social media is a big deal, right? Hands, yeah. Social media is a big deal. Yes and yes. Social media is a big deal. If you're not utilizing it, you are missing out. Plain and simple. You are missing out on connecting with people. And I have a few friends that do not like social media. Well, at least they don't like Facebook. They'll use Instagram a little bit, but they're not big fans there because of that. I don't want to cast that big net. And it's just, do I really have to, or do I not? But it's a way for you to connect. It connects the past, it connects present, it connects future stuff that's coming in, future leads. There's so much that it can connect when it is used appropriately. Would you agree? Yeah, it can happen as long as it's done right. It can absolutely happen. So with that, let's have some fun. We've talked a lot about Facebook, so a lot of this Facebook stuff that we've already covered and leading up to it, right? Because Facebook's the godfather. Like I can see myself as the godfather in Facebook, right? We need to do the things. So Facebook is in fact the godfather. Unless you had a MySpace account way back in the day, Facebook is the godfather. I know there might be a few of us out there that actually did have one, and that's okay. No judgment. So the biggest thing on Facebook, we're talking about all the things that you should do, right? People love to be motivated. People love to be heard. People love to be, there's so much negative out there that anytime you can give a little bit of positive and a little bit of happy, give it. People want to be inspired, and you never know who you're inspiring. When I'm posting, all of you are more than welcome to follow me on any social media channel. Please do. I welcome it. Absolutely. I'm big on positive quotes, motivational things, stuff like that. And you never know who you're going to inspire. When I post everything, I post it because it's what I need for the day. For whatever reason, this quote resonated with me today. And that's why I posted it. And I hope it can inspire and resonate with somebody else. So when you're doing that, you never know who you're inspiring. So just know that. Going live is a big deal. If we were in person, I would totally go live right now, but we're not in person. So that would be a little weird. I mean, we still can, but it'd be a little strange. But going live is huge. And the biggest reason why going live is so huge is because it bumps it right to the very top of the newsfeed. So everybody in your friends list gets a notification that says, Andrea's live right now. You guys better tune in. She's going to say something cool. You're going to miss it. Hey, they're still live. You're going to miss it. So going live is a big deal because it bumps you right up to the very top. Going live when you have an open house, I think, is a big deal. Going live when you're on property tour is a big deal. Going live when you've got an incredible event that you just want to share too. Maybe there's a big moment and you want to go live with it. Do it. It's fine. Whatever it is that you're excited about, go live and share it because people will resonate with it. If you're excited about it and they know you're excited about it versus you're like, I really have to, I'm doing this because I absolutely have to, be excited about it. Get some energy, throw some energy into it, and then people are going to reciprocate that energy back. Promise.
Can I ask a question
Of
about
course.
showing a home? So I went to one of these other CE classes and they talked about if you were going live in a listing that is not yours, you're marketing somebody else's home without their permission and you could get fined for it. So what guidelines are you going to suggest that we do with going live with showing properties without, and they said it had to be in writing if you ever got in trouble. So has anybody for that you're aware of or a way to avoid that?
There are a few things you can do to avoid it. Obviously, I mean, you can make sure, I would check with a listing agent and make sure that they're going to be okay with it. There's a lot of people that are still just doing it and they're not notating exactly where they're at either. As long as you're not giving out full property address or anything like that, most of the time you're okay, but I would err on the side of caution. And if it's something that you do all the time, I would ask them, say, hey, I'm going to do live. Are you okay if I do that? Just so they have a little bit more, so they know what's going on with it too, in case their seller was to say anything, just so you know, and make sure that you disclose it's not your listing. That's the biggest thing, is it's not your listing. You have to.
I've seen people do this. Oh, sorry, Terrie. I've seen people do.
Go ahead.
Sorry. I've seen people and I don't know how they're doing it, but when you click on someone's listing, like they share a listing and you can click on it, at the bottom it says presented by instead of listed by. And I don't know if that's like, okay, I don't know, but I've noticed that people are still doing that, where to the consumer, it makes them look super busy and that it's their listing or whatever. But because it says presented by instead of listed by, I think you might be okay. And I don't know how to do that. I've just seen that happen. And it looks like it's from like the Utah real estate page.
Yeah, that's from the MLS.
Okay.
Yeah, that's from the MLS, and that's fine. I mean, you can obviously share that type of stuff because you're like, oh my gosh, that's an awesome listing. Oh, it's not my listing, it's their listing. I'm just presenting it. Because when you guys are sending out all the properties for your buyers to look at, they're presented by you.
Right.
So they're not presented by the listing agent. But if you're going to go live in a home, I know exactly where you're coming from on that, Mallory, and it's kind of a gray line. I would just double check with the listing agent. I would just say, hey, I'm going to go live on this property. Are you okay with that? And I would just ask them.
I would never go live on somebody else's property, but you could just share it from your website and then just make a comment like, this is a great property. And then just say to see all homes, go to, and then you have your website there. And what you want to do is you want to try to feed people to your website, but you never want to market somebody else's property like, call me for an appointment to come and see this, or, I wouldn't even go that far. I just say, this is a great home, this is great location, or, check out the pictures on this. So, you're not marketing somebody else's property. But then you want your website information and you want to direct them to your website. So you say, to see other properties, go to this link. And then it's connected with the IDX into the utahrealestate.com. So all the properties are on there. So they and it's actually more user-friendly than utahrealestate.com. And then another good thing to do with the prices, home prices increasing so much, people are wondering what their home's worth. So you could post something out there, stating, if you're curious what your home's worth, go to this website. And then I have a landing page that says home value. Do I know what your home value is? And so they have to put in their information. And then, I have a system that I use to go through that process with them where I can actually capture them and then start to marketing them to them. Most people, most people are moving like every 3 to 4 years now. It used to be 7 to 10, but I'm finding that people are moving more frequently now.
Oh, absolutely they are. But getting back to our being able to go live, but you're absolutely right, Laura. You totally want to direct them, to your website too, versus even just sending them back to the MLS, because then it gets lost in translation. But to answer your question, Mallory, it's definitely, it's a gray area and it's hard. I would be cautious with it. But if there's something, if you love going live, it's a way for people to see what's going on. So I've seen it both. I've seen a bunch of agents that are still doing it. I've seen some agents that don't like to do it, or it's, as long as they have the approval from the listing agent to do that, then you're fine.
Terrie?
So I would err on that side of caution, Brett.
Yes, I have researched this to be able to do it. I mean, look at Zillow. They're not getting permission from anybody. And I've spoken with the board under the state laws. If we are a member of the board, we are allowed to promote other people's properties. We do not have to have a signature. Now, my broker requires I have to get written permission in order to do that, but that's my broker. It isn't the law of the state. If you want to do this, you and your brokers get in touch with the board and get the parameters in which you can do that.
That's awesome. Brett, thank you so much for clarifying that. I appreciate you. I was just thinking, I'm like, okay, so who do I call? I'm like, do I need to call Brad? Do I need to call Curtis? Like, who do I need to call to get a little bit more clarification for future reference too? So thank you very much. I appreciate that. Did that help answer your question, Mallory? Yep. Okay, perfect. All right. Going on to especially adding your listings. Listings are a big deal, just like Laura said. Add them and get your click back, whether it's going to your website where it's, hitting all the brokerage stuff, where it's hitting them, wherever it's going, add your listings. Photos matter. Make sure, even in this market, photos matter. You do not ever want to decrease your value as a realtor to the community. That's the biggest thing you guys are facing, right? Continue to do the listing as a listing as a listing. Get the photos, stage it, do it the right way every time. It's just going to make you all see that much more professional in the end. And I think it is still just a big deal. And make sure those photos are beautiful and put them on there. People love to look at pretty things. We know this, including homes. Everybody's nosy. Everybody's nosy. So they want to totally continue to look at stuff like that. So make sure you're putting that stuff up there and you have that click back on there.
Well, and the people who are taking, posting cell phone pictures or putting the pictures on, 3 days after they've put it live, and at that point the house is probably under contract. It does not reflect good on them. And usually there's another buyer, another seller within seven homes, 9 homes within the one that's currently being sold that's watching, is considering selling. And they're seeing what kind of job you're doing. Do you have a nice professional sign, nice professional pictures, lots of pictures? Are you, there's other things to look for that I do, but it's a lot more money. And we know right now that, you don't even have to put a sign in the yard. And you could put a couple cell phone pictures on, crappy pictures, and you could still sell the house. But it's just a poor reflection and people are watching.
Yes, they are. Did someone else have a comment? I thought I heard somebody else want to chime in, but it's very, make sure you have photos on there for sure. Congratulating. Oh, sorry, Andrea, go ahead.
Like, where's that line drawn between that needs a professional photo? Is that just when you're doing an MLS style post?
I I would do it whenever. I would do whatever you're taking photos of your listing. Your photographer is going to send them all to you anyways. The photographer is going to send them to you. So utilize them then, especially if you're going to put together a little Facebook post for your open house, whatever that looks like, whatever you're putting on the MLS, use that on your Facebook post because you already have them. And the pictures are professionally done and they look amazing because you are showcasing yourself as a professional realtor and you are worth every single penny. So do it and do it right. I mean, that's exactly what it is, right? That's what we're all working against, right? We are professional. We do exactly what we do every time. And we are here to market the heck out of your home, no matter if it's going to sell in 2 hours or 20 hours or 5 days or 10 days, whatever that looks like. We are going to make sure that your home is presented in the most beautiful way possible every single time. So when you have all those photos already, repurpose them. It's the easiest way to do it. You can create the flyer, you can do all that stuff. Then you can upload it. So buyers, this one right here, I think you guys is going further and further on social media, congratulating your new buyers. That is huge. It is such a big deal right now, even to get anything under contract, that this has got to be celebrated. Absolutely celebrated. I know here when we're doing closings, all of us, right? We have all of our agents are taking pictures with their buyers. We just bought a house. We've got these fun signs. We've got this. They're doing photos with them with keys, the front door. Whatever that looks like, that is a huge thing to do. You get those buyers and it is the happiest time on planet. I mean, they're so excited. You're taking the photo. You're posting it on social media, saying how excited and grateful you are for their business. You're helping them with this next step in their life. You're tagging them in that photo. And as soon as you tag them in that photo, all of their friends see it. And now you have a whole bunch of more people commenting in on this going, oh my gosh, congratulations, congratulations, congratulations. And now you have an opportunity to respond to all of those comments and be like, oh, I was so grateful I got to help them there. I'm so excited for them to have use of this yard. I'm so excited for that extra bedroom that they need so much. I'm so excited for all the fun they're going to have in that kitchen and the cookies they're going to bake. Whatever it looks like that you get to respond on every one. And you know they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 friends, right? That are like, well, if they can buy a house, I can buy a house. Well, if they help them buy a house, they can totally help me buy a house because I know I've got X, Y, and Z. That right there is the biggest referral marketing you will ever do. Congratulate the heck out of your buyers. Their friends will follow, hands down, as long as you engage with them on that post. You have to engage back with them. That's a big deal when marketing and talking about all those new buyers. People love to know what's going on in your world. We're nosy, we're human, we're curious, and talk about what's good in your world. Talk about what's going on in your world, and whether it's your family, whether it's your fur babies, whether it's your grandbabies, whether it's your babies, whether it's your kids, whatever that looks like, talk a little bit about it. Share your story. The president of NAR, Vince Malta, a couple of years ago, when we were actually in Boston, his whole thing for the year was share your story. That was the big, oh, excuse me, John Schmaby said that. Share your story. That was his big thing for the year. And it is important that you, as a realtor, share your story. Share why you love real estate. Share why you love doing what you do. Because people want to know your why behind it. Why do you love to do this? I mean, what are some of your why do you love doing real estate? What's your why? Share your story. People love to hear it. Again, you don't know who you're going to be inspired, who you're going to inspire when you do this. So share it. It's okay. People want to know. They want to get to know you. So they want to do business with you. I totally want to do that. And this is right here, your profile photo. Please make sure it's current and it represents your brand. Nobody needs profile photos from circa 1980. Let's make sure that all of our profile photos are up to date, they're current, they're reflective of who we are. Absolutely. You want to make sure that your profile photo is out there.
The older ones though are really, really good for like a throwback Thursday, because I've seen some of my clients, they have been in the industry for a while. They'll post like their very first like real estate picture, and it gets so many people commenting that it's just like little fun things like that are silly, or you're willing to be kind of vulnerable. I feel like people are attracted to that you'll get so many comments. And I think someone was talking about to comment back always to these people, but kind of do it in a timely manner, but wait, because then it just keeps reoccurring in people's feeds. But yeah, like with you just saying that you need to update the profile pictures or whatever, but they are really fun to do for like a throwback Thursday type of thing. And then it's easy because it's like you're doing something kind of personable, but also you're still letting people know that you're a realtor and, you know, hey, use me, whatever, in case you forgot.
You're sharing your story.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to make a comment. You need to kind of ask your clients before you post their picture online.
Oh yeah, you have to have their approval. Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I got in trouble once because I took the picture, you know, when they signed the at closing, you know, the settlement, and posted it online, you know, with their gift and everything. I took their picture, and they thought I was just doing it for them. And I posted it on social media. Of course, it had their kids in there and everything, you know, because they had young kids, you know, they had 2 young kids they brought to the settlement with them. And they were really upset that their kids was on social media.
Oh yeah, you always want to make sure. I mean, anytime you're taking a photo of anybody, it's very important just to say, hey, okay, are you guys gonna be okay if I post this? You know, I still do that with my girlfriends. You know, no matter, hey, are we good? Are we posting this or are we not posting? Like, what are we doing here? You know, just absolutely a food for thought thing there. Always just make sure that you do have the permission to go ahead and post that photo. Most definitely.
I always wait until they've posted so I don't steal their thunder as well.
Right? You're like, okay, do you want to post this first? Because then I'm going to, and what a great way, honestly, if they make it, if it's a public one and you can share their post too, that's a great thing to do too, because it just gives it a little bit more traction, if you will. But that's awesome. The other big thing is you really want to be an expert in your community, right? We all love where we live because we live there, right? We live there and we love where we live. So why not be an expert in where you live? One person that does this really well is Dave Robinson. Y'all know Utah Dave, right? With Go Be Realty out in Daybreak. He is he lives, eats, breathes, dies Daybreak. Same with, there's a couple other realtors out there that love it, but they know their community. So how important is it for you to be able to become a community expert is a big deal, especially in your neighborhood. When you can take on there and you know, okay, T-ball signups are here, soccer signups are here, baseball signups are here. Okay, it's time for football season. You've got all these really busy moms with young kids in the neighborhood, and the last thing they want to do is miss a sign up for their kids, because then you're ultimately the worst mom on planet Earth, right? When you've missed signups for something your kids really want to do. Nobody wants to be that mom. So if there's little things that you can just hint, this is little value add. Hey guys, don't forget T-ball signups end this day. If you have littles, make sure you get them enrolled. Or maybe it is, oh my gosh, have you guys tried that new restaurant that just opened up, down the street and around the corner? They had the best bagel I've had in a really long time. Oh my gosh, best coffee shop is way over here. And the cool thing about these restaurants that are in your community, go in there and have a conversation with the owner and say, hey, do you have a second? Can we do a quick video on this? I just want to showcase you for my community. Is that okay? Would you mind going live with me so we can talk about it? It's just a way for you to become that community expert. And that's huge. People want to know what's going on in their world, but they're so wrapped up here sometimes they forget what's out here. And all you're doing is saying, hey, I got you. I'm going to bring you some value right here. I'm going to add some more value to you right here. I'm going to let you know what's going on in your community, and you're going to drop something on their door. You're going to leave them a hanger. You're going to send them a magnet, whatever it is, but they're going to know that you are their community expert, because you're also going to remind them, I love real estate because it allows me to stay so involved in my community. It allows me to bring, all this stuff over, like spring cleanups. I don't know how many times I've missed spring cleanup. I love it when I got a little reminder on my door from one of my local neighborhood agents. I'm like, oh, I'm so glad. I would have forgotten about this, because you get so much mail from the city. You're like, yeah, whatever, I'm out. I forget. It's fine. But if I get something from somebody that's got their face on it, I'm going to look at it. So that is a great way for you guys to become that community expert and add value and just give them something without asking for anything in return, right? You're just giving them information.
Hey,
People
Terrie,
like information.
Terrie, I run a big dumpster every year for spring cleanup, and I post, I have it permission to put it somewhere in the city, in the parking lot of the school. And it's on Main Street, and I put a big banner out, with my marketing, my picture. I mean, basically what it is, it's my business card really blown up big attached to it. And people fill that dumpster. I post on there when the dumpster will be moved, and I leave it up there until it's filled, usually 2 weeks.
Well, and that's a great way to do a client event, right? That's a client event, and that's a SOI event. That's a community event. You're just providing a little piece of value for somebody. And that is a great example of becoming a community expert. So if you've got that stuff and you're out there and you're doing stuff like that in your community, it's a big deal, and it goes a really long ways. That's for sure. So code word number 3, girls, please, ladies.
Okay, so I'm actually prepared now. Okay, so the first one was social, second one was media. We said we're making a sentence. The third word is. IS.
Is. Ooh, I can't wait to see what y'all think it's going to be at the end. I can't wait to know what it's going to be at the end. I don't even know. I think it's going to be awesome.
Well, and to add on to the topic of conversation of putting it out there to your sphere or SOI, that's why social media is so great, is because it's free. And you can always, we as title people, I hope you guys know this, but we can do farm lists as well. So if it's one of those things, if you guys know that your city is going to do like a city day this year, or you find out if the pool's opening in your area close or whatever, and instead of just posting on your social media page, you want to share it out to like your neighbors and everything, reach out to one of us, because we can do farming lists for you guys, to where it's actually the things that people will put on their fridge, as like a reminder, and then you have your name and information underneath it, so they look at you and see you every day. So little things like that. So, I mean, obviously you have to pay for the labels, pay for things like that, not to us, but yourself. But so that's why social media is so great, is because it's a free way of getting it out there to multiple people. But there are other options too. So.
Oh yeah, completely. All kinds of other options. But real quick for the Facebook, the fun do's and don'ts of Facebook, because we always get that information, right? You're like, oh, what do I not post? What should I post? What should I not post? So these are the biggest things that people really do love to see. People love to watch video. If there's any video out there, people want to see it. Post video, people love it, especially the goat videos. If you got something great to share it. Brighten somebody's day, make somebody smile. It's okay. It doesn't have to be about real estate to post it. Responding to questions. If there's going to be a question, somebody asks you a question, please respond with a full sentence and not a thumbs up or a heart, right? Let's respond to it. Engage, get involved in conversations. That's what it's there for. Social media is meant to be social. So let's be social. It's the best way to do it. Timely events is a big deal. Like, let's talk about what's going on right now. If we've got a concert coming up at the end of the week, let's talk about that, because I don't know who else is excited for concerts to start, but this girl cannot wait to go to a concert. I'm so excited about it. So talk about all the fun events that are coming up. Talk about the great events, your community events, your client events, whatever that is. Make sure it's timely and it's relevant. Talk about it. Get the people engaged. That's what this is all about. And I love using, who says GIF, who says GIF? I've heard it both ways, but I love using GIFs. I can speak in GIF and it's really fun. And I love that Facebook has finally adopted them, so they just show up. It's my favorite. So there's always something fun if you can use that. Know your audience. Some people don't care for it. Some people are good with it. Know your audience. Same when talking in emoji. Some people don't get it. Some people do. Know your audience when you're going to speak in either of those. Nobody likes it when you make fun of anybody. Nobody wants to be a bully at all. And honestly, it goes against the code of ethics it goes against our antitrust, right? If we talk badly about our competitors in any way, shape, or form. I know it goes against my, I subscribe to the same code of ethics that you guys do, being a member of the Salt Lake Board. So I get to take that same, we have the antitrust policy. Nobody wants to be mean. Nobody likes a meanie, so don't make fun of people. It's not nice. Slang is hard, right? Nobody likes a lot of slang. In real estate, we have a lot of weird terms and acronyms. I think we have almost as much as the federal government has, which is crazy. So please speak in full words. The real estate purchase contract, the earnest money deposit, the preliminary title report, the commitment for title insurance, the loan approval letter, the, you know, whatever it is, speak in all those words so people understand what we're talking about, because only if you're in the real estate world are you going to get it. And they'll be like, what do you mean? So useful words, obviously. And, you know, and that also goes along with swear words, right? We all say a few things every now and then, but try not to print them out there. It's not, doesn't look that great on your own image. Politics, I'm going to leave that where it is. You do you. I'm just going to leave that one right there. But nobody likes to see anybody making fun of customers. So that's another one. And I use an example because I saw it so many years ago and I went, wow. So it was on my newsfeed I saw, and somebody had posted, she's an office manager for a physician's office. And she had put on her Facebook as a status, and I hope to hell that she didn't have any patients, clients on there. And she says, I really wish that people would realize my office is not a jungle gym for their children. I was like, oh my gosh, did that just really happen? And I thought, oh, I hope you have not friended any of your people on social media, because wow, I was like, oh, that would be terrible. I mean, you just don't do that. Come on. It is what it is. But yeah, so we definitely, you don't want to put anything like that out there. The biggest rule though, so religion and politics, obviously you do you. I'm leaving that right there. We don't want a complainer. Nobody wants a complainer. Nobody wants a negative Nancy. If you're going to complain about your job, you probably shouldn't be doing it. So let's talk great things about our jobs, because honestly, we want people to come to us with questions because we are the expert. We are the professional. We don't complain about our job. We do our job well. Don't give false statistics. Anytime you're going to give a stat, cite your source. NAR is a great place to do that. You can pull stats from there. You can pull it from the Salt Lake board. You can pull them from the Utah Association of Realtors, or whatever board you belong to, UCAR, Northern Wasatch, whatever that is. Cite your source. So wherever you're pulling that stat from, make sure you cite your source. Keep it simple. You don't have to be on a certain scheduled regimen. You don't have to do that. Post what feels right to you, and you'll notice if people are engaging in it or not. If they're engaging, keep doing it. If they're not, revamp it a little bit. Keep it simple. Just keep it simple. Never be afraid to ask for a referral. It's important that you do. Referrals are your lifeblood. They are your business. There's absolutely no reason why you cannot ask for a referral. You don't need to ask for a referral with every post, but you should always ask for a referral, especially when it comes time, you know, for different things. You definitely want to be asking for those referrals. Golden rule, if you have to think twice about it, just don't post it. We've all been there. We've all gotten in trouble. I haven't gone to Facebook jail before. I've tried to, we've stayed out of Facebook jail. There's a lot of people I know that have gone to Facebook jail, especially in the last year and a half. But if you have to think twice about it, just don't post it. Fair? Fair. Fair, fair, fair. So moving on. Just so you guys know, remember the fact Facebook does have a business page. We already hit on that. If you're going to run ads or anything like that, you need to have your business page if you want one. We're happy to sit down with you and let you know what the best way is to create one. If you have one and you love using it, please invite us. We would love to follow your page and help share your content. So please invite us along your journey. We would love to ride co-pilot with you. How about that? We'll ride shotgun. If you think you might want one, but you really don't know, or if you have one and you don't know how to use it, let us know too. We'd be happy to look over it for you. It's good stuff. It's one spot where you can talk all real estate all the time, and that's just fine. Okay, moving on. Algorithms, we talked a little bit about that. Be careful when you are, you don't want to create something that's going to be like engagement bait, where you're really encouraging a lot of people, especially with the gift card thing. Be careful with that, because Facebook, if it's a huge thing, they could flag it as spam. So you want to make sure that you're keep it simple again. So I've noticed So do y'all know Dawn Stevens? She's the broker for one of the Presidio offices. She's got an incredible Facebook page. I love what she's doing with it lately, to where she actually has a lot of questions she's asking within her post and certain things like that. And there's a ton of engagement on it. So if you get a chance, go look at her page, and I would say kind of model that, because it's getting a lot of traction and it's not violating anything. So she's getting a lot of engagement. So I would go look at that and kind of see what she's doing. I haven't seen many giveaways lately. So I'm wondering if Facebook is really put the kibosh on that, because they do that.
Whose website is this?
Dawn Stevens, just go look at her Facebook page.
Is it? Okay.
Yep, Dawn Stevens. She's the broker for the Cottonwood Heights office for Presidio. She's awesome. Live. You guys have got to go live, or just do video. We're gonna get uncomfortable, and it's okay. If you need a video partner, let me know. I'll totally be your video partner. We can send each other video, just little videos like, hey, how's your morning? I'm in. If you need the practice, let us know. We're totally here to help, I promise. Video is king though, for sure. Okay, we're gonna move on. We've got to wrap this up a little bit. We've got some good dialogue going on here today. I do need another code word though, please. Code word.
All right, I'll do this is the fourth code word now. So we have social media is, and then the anticipation. I know you guys are at the edge of your seat. I know you are.
I can't wait to hear what everybody comes up with and then what it really is. That's going to be my favorite thing. It's going to be awesome.
Now I just need to come up with something really creative. So here we go.
You got it. I have full faith in you, Colleen. I know you can do it. Okay, so Twitter. Anybody here big fan of Twitter? Not a big fan of Twitter? I'm not a huge fan of it. I don't love it. Twitter is, if you've got a great following on that, you absolutely should be utilizing it. And if you're posting there, you should totally post there if you've got a great following. Twitter to me is just really, it's like sports. It's what's going on. It's different happenings. Basically, you really need to get your point across in 140 characters or less. And the whole purpose of it is to get somebody else to retweet it and share it. That's the biggest thing with Twitter, is you want it retweeted, you want it shared. So you still can post your listings on there with the link for the one click back, and that's amazing. So if you've got a great following there, I say go fight roar, continue to do it. If you don't, that's totally up to you. And as far as marketing goes, there's some things that are really great with it, but it is a little bit of a different animal than Facebook and Instagram. And our group, I got the consensus that we're more Facebook, Instagram heavy here. Am I missing anybody that's a huge Twitter person that can offer some success that they've had with Twitter on this call? Do we have anybody out there? Maybe, maybe not. It's hard to see everybody, so I don't know if I've got anybody trying to pop in. But so if you've got a Twitter account, make sure you're utilizing it. But if you don't, it's up to you if you want one. If you don't want to try to figure out a new platform, you don't have to. If you've got one that you're using that you love already, I would stick with that one for sure. Okay, next. Oh, come on. Why did it do that? I'm so sorry, guys. Every now and then it gets logged. We get stuck. It just gets stuck for a second. This is the fun of teaching online. It's okay. There we go. We're getting close.
We just wanted a quick review, just a little refresher.
All right. LinkedIn.
You thought that we didn't mean to do that. We meant to. You're welcome.
You're welcome. Little refresher. Okay, LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a big deal. People are Googling you. When you call them and you're having a conversation with them, they Google you. LinkedIn is the place for you to have it all. LinkedIn is a place for you to make sure that your professional resume is up to date. This is a place where you can say, I made Realtor 500 this year. I'm a major investor in art. You should do that stuff everywhere anyways. But LinkedIn is your online resume. Update it. It's got the coolest things. They have video now. They have live. They have stories. When Microsoft bought LinkedIn went through the roof. They're like, oh, look at me. I've arrived. I am here, which is awesome. So if your LinkedIn profile is not up to date, please, please, please make sure that you get it up to date. Because when somebody Googles you and they see a really old LinkedIn profile, they're like, who is this person? So you definitely want to make sure that your LinkedIn is up to date and running most effectively. You really get to connect with people on LinkedIn, which I think is kind of awesome. And people are more willing to have a conversation with you. LinkedIn is a great place for you to connect with other realtors who at one point in time or another has had to refer somebody out of state. If you ever have to refer somebody out of state, isn't this a great place for you to connect with those other people, right? This is a great place for you to make those connections. And if you don't belong to Women's Council of Realtors or CRS, which is now RRC, those two groups affiliated under the National Association of Realtor umbrella, they do great with referral business. So if you don't have one of those to really refer from, create relationships with other agents across the US. LinkedIn is a great space for you to do that. You can really create some solid relationships there, and you'll get to see what they're all about and you get to see what they do. So it's kind of a cool place to be. Endorsing your connections is still a big deal. You want, if you would love to work with somebody and you're going to refer them out, make sure you endorse them and tell them that. It's a great thing to do. It's a great space for you to be able to refer somebody out. How many of you guys have a big sphere of people that you refer out? Do people call you and say, hey, do you know so-and-so that does this? Do you know somebody that does this? Do you got a guy for this? Do you got a girl for this? LinkedIn is a great place for you to start establishing some of those connections. So you can say, I totally got somebody. And you can refer them out and they're actually going to connect with that person and it's going to happen. LinkedIn is a great place to do a double check, to do a triple check on somebody. Stalk the crap out of people on LinkedIn. It happens all the time. Oh, yeah, what you got?
A question about that. On LinkedIn, if you check someone out, they can see you checked them out. On Facebook, they can't see you check them out.
You can really stalk them on Facebook and be unanimous. But on LinkedIn, but the only time you'll get to see, you can still view people in private mode on LinkedIn. You can view them in private mode. And also, unless they're a premium member, sometimes they don't know who's viewing their profile, because that happens to me often. I'm like, why are these people looking at my profile and why won't they tell me who they are? Just somebody at a real estate brokerage looked at your LinkedIn account. I'm like, okay, that's random, but whatever. So there's a few different ways to know. But if you find out it is another realtor out of state, connect with them. Look at them back. Then you guys start looking at each other and you're like, okay, maybe we should connect. Maybe we might have a referral situation going on there. It's about creating the relationship, right? That's what it's all about. That's what social media is for. Let's create the relationships. So use LinkedIn for that big, huge business relationship network building for sure. You can, if you're doing video, I should say not if, when is our word, we start doing video, post it on LinkedIn, share what you're doing, because how else are you going to create strong referral connections if they don't know what you're doing? Post it, share the video. Video goes further on LinkedIn too. It really spreads on LinkedIn. Same with the stories. So use it. It is all great stuff that you should be doing, hands down. Okay. We all love Instagram, right? Doesn't Instagram just make you happy? Instagram just makes me happy. Anybody else out there? Like, it's so easy. And it's just carefree and there's no drama. Like, it is seriously the best thing on planet Earth. And Instagram is what you make it. You choose what you want to follow and what you want to see. So you can choose to have love and light and motivation and guidance and real estate and homes and design. You can choose to have that in your feed. The best thing about Instagram is it's a photo, click, upload, bam, done. Instagram operates off of hashtags though. You know the pound sign, right? That's hashtag, pound sign. It operates off of hashtags, and you can gather whatever hashtags it is that you want to use, save them on your notes section on your phone, So every time when you make a post, you can just copy and then paste it onto there. So you have all of the stuff that you want to put on there and all your hashtags. So you just put them out one time, put them in there. One time, especially if there's something that you want to get out there and you want to make sure that every time, because people can follow hashtags on Instagram, which is kind of cool. So they could be following just real estate. They could be following, let's say it's the real estate. It is Victorian home. It is, list to last. It is, whatever your Monday motivation is, whatever hashtag it is that you want to use. A lot of mine I use is depending on what I'm posting, but like I always do US Title Utah. I do Here for You. I do Unity. I do local. I do Utah real estate. I do keeping it real. It just depends on what I'm posting for the day, what hashtags I choose to use. So I don't have a specific set, but I like to hashtag because I have my own business page, Tuesdays with Terrie. And if it's about the podcast that I've just done, maybe it's about, relationships, it's about connecting, whatever that looks like, that's what you put on there. And people follow hashtags, which means you're going, as long as your account is public. How many of you have a public Instagram account? Anybody? I don't know. If your Instagram account is public, you will have a further reach, obviously. When I had to finally make my Instagram account public, it was a little scary. I'm not going to lie. I was like, it's the one last shred of stuff that not everybody in the world can see. And I was working, I guess he really could be considered my coach, even though I didn't really pay him. He was just helping me out because he was just very kind to me. His name's Dustin Brom. He's the founder of Search Salt Lake. And he is also the founder of the Massive Agent podcast. If you do not listen to that podcast, I suggest you do. Great information, fast, easy, fun. He's a great guy to listen to. But when I started this thing, I started doing all my really deep dive into video and everything social media wise. I sat with him and we were talking and we were in an Instagram group together. And he's like, I can't share any of your stuff. I'm like, well, why not? He's like, your page isn't public. I'm like, but I want to make it public. He's like, the whole purpose of this is for us to get a better reach. You have to make it public. I'm like, but it's my last shred of just me. I already made my Facebook page public and that was hard enough. Like, really? He's like, yeah, it's time. You have to do it if you want to grow. I'm like, fine, it's okay, whatever. But it's good, but it's hard. I mean, it's releasing that control. It's growth. It's uncomfortable, right? It's a little uncomfy and everything else. But I'm like, okay, I got this. I can do it. So now, and having that public page, when you have that list of hashtags, not only are people following you, they're following a hashtag. So maybe people that don't follow you, but now they're following a hashtag and they see a post because the hashtag that you put in there, and they're like, oh, well, that's kind of cool. I think I should follow that person because we have the same things in common. Again, it's all about creating connections with those who are like-minded. So you want to create connections with those who you want to connect with, plain and simple, no matter what that looks like. Instagram stories, I know Macaulay touched on this a little bit earlier. Stories are a big deal. And what's beautiful about them is they're gone in 24 hours. This is a great place for you to be like in your car, hey, out showing 12 properties today, we're going to get one. I can feel it. You're in the car, right? I've got 12 showings today. It's Saturday. I've got my coffee. I've got my Monster. I've got my Diet Coke too. Like I am caffeinated and I'm ready to go. That is a great story. It's gone in 24 hours. But you also get to see who watches your stories. I don't know if you do that or not. But if you click on your story, look at the drop down, everybody that's watching your stuff. And especially if you have the same person watching your stuff and you have the same person liking all your stuff, because you'll find a little heart up there on it, engage with them. Dude, that listing was crazy. There was like 8 bedrooms in that house. Holy cow. Do you know how many people we could fit in there? Start a conversation off of something that they've engaged, that they've liked. You start a conversation, which starts a little bit more connection, right? Because social media is to connect. That's what it's here for. It is here to connect, to get you connected to other people. Okay. And you can add all your flyers, all your open house stuff. When you're doing an open house, make sure you're putting it on your stories. People can share that as long as it's public. If it's not public, I can't share it and I'm sorry. But if it's public, I can totally share it. We're good. Use your stories for your open houses. Make sure you're putting your flyers on there. Whatever it is, any new listing you have, I know they go in 2.5 seconds, but still do the things because you are a professional realtor and you are so good at what you do. You do all the things all the time. No shortcuts. Do the things. It will go so much further, so long. If your Instagram page is a business page, you can do ads just like you can on Facebook. So if you choose it to be a business page, I find you get more reach on a personal page than you do on a business page. So you have to decide what you want to use it for. The cool thing with a business Instagram page is you get analytics. So you know how far your posts are going, you know how many people are viewing it versus just how many people are liking it or loving it or commenting on it. So pick and choose on that one. I find on a business Instagram, you don't get quite as far of reach, but it's pretty close. So before we move on, any questions on the Insta world?
So we do
Terrie,
actually.
someone did say, oh yeah,
Oh yeah, go ahead.
You got it, girl.
Okay. Somebody asked in the chat, what's the name of that podcast again?
Oh, the Massive Agent Podcast. Will you put it in the chat, please?
The Massive Agent Podcast?
Yep, the Massive Agent Podcast with Dustin Brohm, BROHM.
BROHM.
Yep.
Well, and there's settings too, also on your guys' stories. If you're like for instance, we're planning my aunt's 50th surprise birthday party this weekend, and they don't want her to see it. So you can do privacy settings on your stories, and you can pick and choose like who you want to see it. If you're like, hey, this is for a specific crowd, I don't really want, these certain people to see it, or I really want these people to see it. There's a setting, there's a part in your when you're doing your video or a picture or whatever that you're posting on your story. Yep. You can either choose to do it public to everyone if your page is public, or you can click and choose what I think it says like close friends or something, and it's a green link. And that's for the people that you want to see it. If you don't want everyone to see it and you just kind of want a select few, or if you're just like, I just don't want this one person to see it, there's these different settings that you can do as well, that it's not like you're just put on blast for everyone to see. You can pick and choose. It's just usually you'd want more people to see.
Exactly. Stuff. Yeah, the stories is where you want a lot of people to see and a lot of people to share from too. So it's there's so many different little things. If you have questions on it, again, let us know. We're happy to sit down with you. We want to look at it with you. Make sure that make sure you are exactly where you are at on it, for sure. So, okay, moving on. I love Snapchat. Snap's just fun. Snapchat is just fun. Same guy who runs the Massive Agent Podcast, he's the one that we started on. That's how I got to know him, was on Snapchat. And it was all about, I'm like, are you sure this is really used for real estate? And this was, again, not long ago. He's like, yeah, you'd be surprised. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah. He's like, I'm connected with so many agents across the country, and they utilize the heck out of Snapchat for real estate. I'm like, oh, okay. So I started really getting into it and looking at it. And yeah, it is absolutely a huge real estate tool. The key to Snapchat it's not in the individual snap. It is in the story feature. Same thing as, so Snapchat has always had their stories, and then Instagram wanted to buy Snapchat. And when Snapchat said, yeah, no, you don't get to buy me, I'm my own person. And they're like, well, fine, we'll create our own story system then. And that's how Instagram stories came about. So they stole it from Snapchat. So Snapchat has, you can post up to a minute long. So it's 10 individual snaps of 10 seconds each. At 10 seconds each. So you can post up to a full minute of basically like a video. And that is where I got to get comfortable doing video, was on Snapchat, because that was my biggest thing. When I sat down with Dustin, I said, he's like, Terrie, you got to use video. He's like, it's important. You get to use video. Start here. I'm like, you know, I was kind of pitting out a little bit, and they gave me sweaty armpits, and it made me have hot flashes at first. But he's like, you have to. I said, well, what if my biggest thing, and I know this is all of your questions, what if I mess up? What if I don't say the right thing? What if I stumble over my words? What if I mess up? And he's like, what if you do? He's like, you're human. People will connect with the real, the raw, the authentic you. They're not going to connect with somebody who's taken 12 takes and is perfectly posed and is read from a script. I'm like, you're true. That's very true. So get uncomfortable and just do it. I'm like, but he's like, no, just if you want to grow in the way you want to grow, this is the next step you have to take. So if you're scared about doing video, Snapchat is a great place for you to start. I'm happy to be your Snapchat buddy. If you want to start sending me videos and be like, all right, T, it's time. I got to get comfortable doing this. I need you to critique this or that. I'm in, absolutely in. You can always hit me up. I'm happy to snap back. I am happy to do video tips, whatever it is you want to do. Snapchat is a great place for you just to do quick little fun things. I have a couple of agents that I know you use it often when they're showing property, and they use it when there's something crazy, when they see something wild and eccentric. They're like, whoa, like mind blown, check this out. This is awesome. Snapchat has great filters and it's just fun. It makes doing video less scary because there's so many fun things that you can actually do with it. The other really cool thing about Snapchat is if you've ever used it and you've noticed, if you keep swiping on it, they have these cool things called geo filters, and you can actually create your own. So if you're doing a big client event and you have people there, you obviously want to encourage them to take photos and share it. If it's a super younger crowd and they're all using Snapchat, create a geo filter just for your event. And then it's going to place all of your information on there. So when people do snap, that geo filter is automatically going to pop up, which is a great piece of advertising for you. It's amazing. Instead of having to do maybe photo booth with all the print and stuff like that, they can all just do a quick snap and you have them slide to the geo filter, post it, bam, great advertising for you guys. So it's awesome that way. And so Snapchat's just it's another great tool. So if you're looking for that younger millennial crowd, y'all are on Snapchat, aren't you? Yeah, you are. You're on Snapchat and you're on Instagram. That's where you are. All of us older people, we're just trying to keep up with the times here. Again, like I said, my children got me into social media. I blame them. There's a whole reason why I have it, and then they get cringy. It's fine. I'm just trying to do the things, and y'all can do this. Y'all know what's going on. Both of you girls right there know exactly what I'm talking about. It comes from our podcast that we did, Moms and Daughters in Real Estate. If you didn't, so Kennedy is actually my daughter. So she's my daughter. So we've got to, she's one of the main reasons why I even have Instagram. She finally said, Mom, I can't believe you don't have Instagram. And this was so many years ago. I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, you have to do it. I'm like, okay then. I'm like, well, if you're there, I'm like, don't block me. I'm like, that's the only rule. I'm like, you don't get to block me so I can see what you're doing.
Never. Well, and the craziest thing about it is that I might have been the one on social media first, but she is so much better at social media than I am. I am one of those people that is a little afraid of video. Channel my inner Terrie when it comes to social media. So it's funny.
That's the other good part of Snapchat is if you are scared of video, they have so many like filters. Like I'm not even talking like the beautify filters where you're like, okay, your eyes really aren't that big. Like that's not real. But the ones where it kind of like will distort your voice or can make you look like you're wearing glasses or whatever, but in a funny way, those can go a long way. Even if you're just starting out with videos, you can start with those. It's just kind of like a funny, like I do it sometimes to my clients. Like I have a terrible voice singing wise, terrible, like, wow. But I want my clients to feel like that I care about them and I want to give them a more personable, like, happy birthday. So I'll go to one of those filters that distorts your voice that sound like a chipmunk and I'll sing them happy birthday. And I'm like, you can't tell if I have a bad voice.
I do that often.
I love it. I love it. It's perfect.
It gives you the ability to have some fun with and not take yourself too seriously, right? This is a hard job, you guys. This is a hard industry. It is the most fun and rewarding and exciting place to be. But my gosh, we all need to be able to breathe a little bit from time to time. Snapchat can help you do that. Engage in it.
We have a question in the chat. It says, can you share your top 3 video creating tips? Do this, don't ever do this, that kind of stuff.
Do this, just do it.
Number one, just do it.
Number one, you just have to do it. Don't do it if you can't speak on the fly about it, don't do it. So make sure you got something and you kind of have an idea in your head of how you want to script it and roll with it. You want to make sure that you actually do have some good lighting. We have these really cool tools that Kennedy actually got. There are incredible lights that go on your cell phone to help with selfies, to help when doing video. Lighting is huge, so you want to make sure you've always got some good lighting. And really, when you're making a video too, you want to make sure you're not in a place where it's like a wind tunnel, if the wind's blowing really hard, because it's amazing how much our microphones pick up. So be a little bit careful there when you're doing that, unless you want people to be able to hear the noise all around you, like you're at a concert, you're at a big event, and you want people to know the noise that's going on because it's so exciting and electric, then you definitely want to. So that's really, and just know your audience when you're going to post your video too. So make sure that whatever you're videoing, you know your audience, so you can go ahead and post it. But you don't need anything fancy. You don't need this huge camera setup. You don't need to have it on a tripod like this where you're, all is here. Don't overthink it. The second you start overthinking it is the second you're not going to do it. So just go with it. Have y'all seen that movie, right? Jennifer Aniston and Adam Sandler? Just go with it.
I think too that a lot of it is being true to like kind of who you are, to where people will see your personality. Have you guys ever seen those videos where you can tell people are so uncomfortable and they don't want to do it, and it's kind of cringy, where you're like, you just weren't true to yourself. And I feel like if you guys the more authentic you can be, and if you're just trying to be funny or trying to be whatever, and that's who you are, then that's great. But the people that are maybe are trying to mimic someone, or they think that it's working for them, so it will work for you or whatever, and those videos can just be kind of off-putting in a sense. I would just say be true to kind of your brand, whatever that is. And if you don't have one yet, go and play around with it. Like, you don't have to share all the videos you post. Lord knows I don't. So it's just one of those things where it's like, you can do as many takes as you want if you're not going live. That's one thing that scares me with live. But like, you can kind of just see what fits with you, if you like talking about the market, if you like talking about, some things that kind of maybe went wrong on a showing, or like, have you guys ever had this happen? And it's just kind of this funny thing or whatever. But you can do as many takes as you want, as many videos as you want, and then you can kind of understand, your best side or your best lighting or your brand, and I think that's a huge thing too, is when you can kind of come up with what you want to put out there and the content you want to put out there, it just makes it a lot more flow and effortless type of thing.
Oh, absolutely. Hands down. So yeah, that's the other big part, is be you. You always want to be the first-rate version of yourself instead of a second-rate version of somebody else, right? That's the biggest thing that we can be, is we just have to be us. We are who we are, and how amazing is that? We're all unique in our own way. So embrace it. Embrace your inner weirdo, my friends. Embrace that you are a Fruit Loop in a world of Cheerios, and just go for it. It's really just that easy. I promise. I know it sounds scary, and we can hold your hand. Like I said, I'm here to be your video buddy if you need it. That is for sure. We're just about out of time here. A lot of fun. So now the biggest thing is just freaking do it. Use video, get comfortable with your camera, create some valuable shareable content. When in doubt, don't post it. Biggest thing, you do need to let your SOI, all your people on social media, know that you are a real estate agent. You absolutely cannot wait to work with them, because you are so very good at what you do. So my friends, with that, we've got one more code word left. I thank you so much for allowing us to be here with you for 2 hours. I know it wasn't the class you were expecting. I hope you got some good things out of it. We are here to help you grow. If you're already using us, thank you so much. We appreciate you to the bottoms of our hearts. If you've never used us, please give us a try. I promise you will not be disappointed. And we're here to help you grow your business and take care of you the very best way you can. Last code word, Collie. What do we got? I can't wait to see what you got for us.
I really set this up, and I shouldn't have. I'm sorry. It's really not that cool. Well, first, before I say the code word, I'm going to put my cell phone number in the chat right now. When you guys see this, which I'm doing it now, please just text me the 5 code words, which I'm going to give you, the last one. So please text me the code, your name, the code word, or the code words, and then your what is it? License number. Thank you. Your license number. So your name, the code words, and your license number, and then we'll disperse out the certificates, and then I'll get you guys on a list to get your CE hours banked, and you'll be good to go. So the last code word is, and oh my gosh, okay, yeah, I really should not have pumped this up because it's, so okay, so we have social media is the bomb. Didn't mean to do that. I regret it instantly. Forget that I did it.
I don't think so. Bam! I love it.
But yes, so thank you guys so much for joining. And okay, so we did have a question about the last part, about the core Zoom class. So we won't be teaching that one. So our CE instructor, who is licensed to teach that class, isn't with us anymore. So we have another one that we could do that is core, that I believe it's about like the Rep C and the different, right, Terrie? Is that the one that Edwin teaches?
The biggest one that we can do right now that is core, it's the Essentials of Title Insurance, and right. I teach that class as well. So we can look at putting that one on for another core class.
Right. And I'll get with, I'll get with your guys' training coordinator, and we do have another one coming up in May that we're going to try to have that be for the core one. And we also, I know, have another core one as well. So I will get in touch with your guys' training, your guys' those people, and we'll kind of figure that out. But thank you guys so much for being on here. Like Terrie said, we know that this wasn't the intended class that it was going to be, but we appreciate you guys and your guys' questions, and I loved all of them. If you guys have any more, please feel free to ask us. That's why we're here. Not just about social media, but title or anything else, anything to pick our brains. We're here for you guys. So thank you guys so much again. And if you guys could have that done by today, just because I understand that it gets kind of out of sight, out of mind. And we want everyone to get credit for this class. So please text me today with your name, the code words, and your license number. And then we'll get all those banked, and I'll make sure to send you guys an email or, oh, actually, do we need the emails too? No, it's okay. Oh, well,
I think you do.
I wonder,
yeah.
Can I get the emails from you?
We do not have them because some people didn't register ahead of time. So they would need to
Fun little
that or
addition.
email that to you guys.
Yeah. Okay. Can you guys also include your email too? Just again, so that I can make sure that you guys know that when your guys' hours are banked. I know that there are a few people who are like, yeah, hi, I need CE credit like yesterday. So yeah, if you could do your name, the code words, your license number, and your email, we will get it all taken care of. Yeah, thank you guys so much again. We really appreciate you, and have a great freaking day.
Yep, I'll stay on for a second if y'all have any other questions you need, but other than that, have a beautiful day.
I also sent a picture of that little ring light that we have in the chat. So it should be really cool. A file that you can just open up if you want one. They're super awesome. I love mine. I'm happy to come drop it off or anything like that. It's super awesome. Good stuff.
Perfect.